And welcome into Celtics Spotlight. I'm Sean Meyers of the Carlow Sports Network, joined by one of the seniors on the women's basketball team, Elena Butler. First off, thanks for doing this. How's everything going with you?
Good. How about yourself? Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely, and I'm doing well. And I'm sure you're doing as well also, because it was a really good year for you and for the Celtics. I want to talk a little bit about that. And also look at how you've kind of grown throughout your entire career. So thinking back to your freshman year up till now, what have been some of the areas of growth for you?
Confidence for sure. Coming in, I think, you're obviously, the younger one in the group. And then trying to develop kind of your spot in the team and understand how you're going to impact is the hardest part. Freshman to sophomore year, I think not too much progress was made. But then to junior year and then to senior year, a lot of progress was made, but confidence for sure was the biggest thing.
And we've seen it with some of your statistics, because you've really ticked up in many categories, including steals. You were one of the better ones in the entire conference this year. Obviously, it's a strength of yours. How do you excel at that aspect?
Just being where you need to be. I said, in the beginning of the season, I'm more of an off-ball defender, so that's exactly where you need to be for the steals. The long ones that come across the court. You have to be ready, keep your head on a swivel, and always be prepared that the ball is going to come your way. I think my teammates help me a lot in that aspect, because the on-ball defense is super strong, and so that allows me to kind of sit back and be able to see what's going on in front of me.
It was a really good regular season, in particular in the conference for the Celtics, a big step forward. So how much different was the mood for the players and for the coaches?
Very, very, very different. I think everybody in the beginning was definitely a little confused. What's winning like? How are we going to do this? And then once we do it, how do we continue? In the beginning, we definitely had some tough ones, and that kind of killed our confidence, I think, as a team. And then once we started our season in conference play, we figured it out. In Pickeringsburg, after that one at their gym, that was when we all sat down and had a discussion and said, look, this is what we need to do. How are we going to do it? And we figured it out, and that changed. And kind of shows in the rest of our season.
And some credit obviously has to go to your head coach, Dave Gordon. His second year. When you think of him, what are the qualities that come to mind?
Organized. Coach Dave comes into practice every single day with a sheet of paper, and it has everything we're going to do, from how many reps, how many shot attempts that we should have, into the time that we're going to do it. And then that also translates into the game. Coming into the game, we come into the locker room after warming up for a little bit, and on the board is everything that we need to know for the game. KYP, know your personnel, defense, what we're going to play, and then our offensive book, all the plays that we can run against the other team.
I know every team has goals and every player has goals. What were the goals that you set, and how have you done in terms of accomplishing them?
As a team, I think we did well. We ended with a 500 season. Huge progress from last year. I think we were 5-22, maybe around there. So that was big. Every game we set goals. We sit in the locker room before the games and we talk about some things that happened in the previous game before and how we can do better on those. And then if we didn't hit those certain goals, then we bring them to the next game and we keep it going. But obviously there could have been it could have been better, but I think we did overall pretty well. And then as an individual, not as good as I wanted to do, but I think I helped the team when I needed to.
I know you're very familiar with Donahue Pavilion.
Yes.
You played there in high school. You've played there in college as well. That's at Oakland Catholic. Is that a positive? Did you look at it as maybe a negative? How did you evaluate that?
So I've been playing at Oakland Catholic since 5th grade AAU. I started back there, and I've been going to camps since I was in 3rd grade. I think it's a positive thing, knowing the floor. You go to how many different gyms in one season, and the spacing is the big key on the offensive end, and I think that at Oakland Catholic I've kind of known where I can be and where I can't be in terms of offensive and defense, and I think that has also helped with my steals.
Well, let's go back to when you made the decision to come to Carlow. What were the biggest factors in that?
COVID for sure. My senior year was during the COVID pandemic, and I just wanted to stay home. That was kind of my thing. If I have to get on a plane that's a little bit too far, and when things came down to it and Carlow was on my list, it just only made sense.
What's your major and an ideal future profession for you?
My major is biology, and my future profession is actually, I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to go to law school post-graduation and figure that out. What kind of law? I'm not really sure, but we'll see.
Any type of law sounds
Yeah.
like it'd be pretty productive for you.
Yeah.
So I mentioned you attended Oakland Catholic, and the basketball tradition there is incredible,
Yeah.
obviously. Is that something that you knew about, and did you embrace it? And also, what has made that tradition so good?
Yeah, so many good ones before me. Going into high school, I knew for sure I was going to Oakland Catholic, like, all along. All the teams that I played for, like, out of school have been Oakland Catholic kind of related. Understanding the history is very important, that is a very good school in terms of basketball and all the other sports as well. Kind of like my age, I feel like the older ones who have been good, I haven't been able to connect with as much, like Susan McConnell and kind of the earlier, like, 2000s. That was when I was born. But yeah, just like being reminded about, you know, what has happened here, and the coaches that we had were Oakland Catholic alums, so that was definitely easy to bring that in.
If you could change one rule about college basketball on the women's side, what would it be?
Ooh. I would just say in general, just like the blocks and charges. I think kind of deciphering through those are very hard, but
Would you like there to be
Just
more
eliminate.
blocks called since you're going to get after it defensively?
maybe charges. Just because I feel like we kind of take more charges
Right.
than
There you go.
go into people for a block.
So when you're playing basketball, whether it be a practice or a game, do you go with the water? Do you go with the sports drink? Something else?
Water for sure. Water always, yeah.
Before, during, and after?
Yep, always, always, always.
Who would be your celebrity dream date?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't want to be like cliche and say like Steph Curry, but I'm gonna go with another one. We'll say like Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves. I really
Okay,
like
he
him.
is one of the best
Yeah.
young players in
Love
the
him right
NBA,
now. Yeah.
certainly on the rise.
Yeah.
Lastly, what is your favorite vacation spot, or is there a place that you've always wanted to go to?
I love the beach. I really do want to go to Europe. I want to travel around Europe. I want to see the Eiffel Tower, so maybe that's my dream vacation spot.
And maybe go to some beaches in Europe as well. Cover both your bases.
In
there.
Italy, for sure.
Well, Elena, thank you so much for doing this. Great job to this point of this
Thank
senior
you.
season, and certainly good luck going forward.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
That is Elena Butler, the senior for the Celtics here on the Celtics Spotlight.